Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm your host, Anthezar, but y'all can just call me Anthy. But what threw me over the edge was the polar bear. 6 pages! What's your profanity?
Y'all gonna laugh at my setup. Meet the spider.
My plan was to organize my thoughts on this. But you know what? That's not happening because the thought of organizing my thoughts exhausts me further. So this will be just a ranty video and me trying to figure out and remember what my thoughts were on this book. So we will find out. I have a love-hate relationship with this book, Blood Heir. I wanted to love it. When the whole controversy thing blew up, I was like, oh, that's horrible. They totally got the author to stop publishing their book. How rude. As an author, I'm deeply wounded and insulted. So I wanted to love this book. Okay, we'll start with that. I wanted to love this book. I didn't even know what it was about, and I wanted to love this book because my mother bear wanted to protect the author. Okay, but it's not horrible. It's not bad. It's so hard to critique a book. You know what? It's like, it's not a review. It's really a kind of a critique. There's 440 pages worth of words here that this woman has written. And like, good on you, girl. Like, I am so proud, and I don't even know you, but like, making books is hard. Writing a book is hard. And the fact that you did it, good stuff. It's hard to say stuff and not sound like a prideful idiot, but you know what? I've written 1,000,000 words. Not a newbie. I won't say what I am, because I don't even know what I is. We is nothing. The first few chapters are really cool. Let's read the opening line. The prison bore a sharp resemblance to the dungeons of Anastasia's childhood. Dark, wet, and made of unyielding stone that leaked grime and misery. There was blood here too. She could sense it all, tugging at her from the jagged stone steps to the torch-blackened walls, lingering at the edges of her consciousness like an ever-present shadow. This is some great opening sentences. That was 2 sentences. And I think the thing that made me impressed was like, she's got a colon in the first sentence and a semicolon in the second. Woo! Someone who knows how to use those. It makes me happy. My writer brain is very happy when I see people use colons and semicolons properly. They are beautiful tools. You should learn how to use them. So the first chapter, I liked. It was great. But then some stupid, this is why you should make a script, people. Make a script. The exiled princess, Anastasia, enters the prison and is going there to demand info from this con man, this dude named Ransom Quicksilver. No, it's not Quicksilver. Ransom Quicktongue. Excuse me. So she wants information from this prisoner. So apparently she's been looking for information about this dude who murdered her father. I think that's what it was. See how wonderful Anthy's memory is? It sucks. So she's trying to get info on this guy who murdered her dad. And she can't. It's taken her a year to get to the beginning of the book. So she's been out in the world for a year. This will come later. This is another issue. Another issue. So she's been in the world for a year. And she finally comes to this prison. Like, first of all, child, why are you going to prison when you don't want to be anywhere near there? Because they will throw you in it. El stupido. So then there's this conversation with Ramson, and he pulls a stupid. I'm sorry. There is a case of strong stupidity in this book, and everybody has been afflicted by it. Everybody. She has this special blood power. Think of Katara from The Last Airbender. We're gonna call this power blood bending because that's the only way I can know it. Anyway, she has a special power that she'll get caught if the guards find out what she's got. She wants information from the prisoner wants to escape. Shocker. And she's like, no. And then he calls the guard and says, oh, she's a bloodbender, or not quite bloodbender, but she's got magic. I'm brutalizing this book, I'm so sorry, it's really not my intent. He pulls a stupid where he's like, guard, she's got powers, ah! And then she's like, I can't get caught, so she attacks the guard, and then I'm like, sir, you wanted to make a deal with her in the first place. Why would you call for the guard? She said, no, you could give it a little bit more than a second to convince the girl. Like, what are you thinking, sir? This is a reason why you're in prison, apparently, because you suck at personal relations. Then they have a prison break. They escape into the prison, and then they leap off this deadly waterfall. Like, it has to be a deadly waterfall. I'm okay with this, like, yes, but they magically survive because they time it right, or there's enough rope. I don't know, but they magically live. First of all, this is in the tundra, by the way, so the water would be ice cold, top freezing ice water, and they come out, and first of all, I'm shocked that they didn't pass out in the water and drown and die. Like, the end. But then, like, they crawl out, they're freezing, but like 10 minutes in the cold would kill you, wouldn't it? I would have to Google this, and I'm not gonna Google it right now, I'm sorry, but I feel like they would pass out and die really quickly, but they don't. So the beginning is super fast-paced and going, and that's fine. But what threw me over the edge was the polar bear. You heard me right, there's a freaking polar bear. Giant polar bear, like humongous polar bear. And the prisoner who's carrying the girl because she passed out, like, somebody's realistic. And he's like, well, frick, I'm gonna die and get ate by a polar bear. And I'm like, oh boy, we just got nearly caught by guards, and we almost got dashed to pieces by the waterfall rocks, and then we almost froze to death, and now there's a polar bear? Like, polar bear shows up on page 43. That's a little too much action, darling. Like, can I have some breathing time? Because, woo, we just jumped off a waterfall and almost drowned. And now we're freezing to death, and now there's gotta be a polar bear. I don't know why that threw me off, but it was just like, wow. The entire world is after them, nature included. The polar bear sees the two of them and he thinks, dinner, okay? Food, I'm gonna eat these people. And then the bush shakes. And the polar bear goes after the unknown sound in the bush. I'm sorry, what predator would go after unknown prey? So what kind of polar bear would go after the bush and not the two dying people in front of him? Like, come on, come on. We haven't even finished page 1 out of page 6 pages. 6 pages! As a writer, I'm a big advocate for the slowdown times. And it's just my style too. Like, I have a really kind of easygoing pace, and then I shoot up and you're like, whoa! And that's just kind of what I like, because it takes time to get to know your characters, and it takes time for the reader to get to know your characters, and I'm not a fan of dropping people in action. There's a big pacing issue when it comes to books sometimes. And some people might find my book's pacing off, but personally, I like a slightly slower pacing while slowly building up tension. The problem with this book is that a lot happens in the first 3 to 4 chapters, and by that time I am exhausted. I'm already exhausted. I'm like what just happens? None of it is character development in a way. It's just a whole heck of a lot of action, and I'm like, why do I care about these people? Why do I care about Anna? Why do I care about Ramson? Like, give me a reason. Because I'm not reading your book because of your fancy world. I don't care about your polar bear. I want to care about your characters. They spend this time recovering, and then we meet May, and she's darling, I love her. They're like, okay, we gotta go to this city because we're trying to find information on the guy who killed her daddy. And Ranson's a con man who's gonna con the girl too, and all this, you know, lovely jazz. Unimportant to the plot. I'm kidding. We come into another problem. They go to town, all right? And they see slaves. And Anna is like, how awful this world is. How awful. I must redeem them and save them. Not quite. But like, oh my gosh, control yourself, woman. Because where have you been for a year? Have you been out in the tundra for a whole year? Where have you been? Have you not noticed the state of your empire? So she causes a scene, and at the same time, they separate. They split up. Ransom goes to do his own thing, and she goes off, and I don't know what she's doing anymore. I can't remember. Ransom's stupid because he goes, and he goes to the guy who apparently betrayed him and got him thrown into prison and confronts him and is like, And then the guy turns on him again, like, shocker! And Ransom gets his butt captured. Again. Are we noticing a pattern here? Our dear girl Anna creates a scene and gets May captured. Our characters are stupid. There is a raging case of stupidity in this book. So up to that point, that's chapter 8. All right, I'm not gonna really go into depth about every single thing. Anna meets up with Ransom and saves his butt, and then they go after to go save May. All right, yay, we're gonna go save May. But then they're like coming across stuff, and you're seeing slavery, and she's all pained, and oh, I gotta save them, and she's an impulsive, stupid child. That's my problem. The biggest problem with the book is Anna is so annoying. Instead of using her head, she jumps headlong into everything. Everything. Dude is gonna say something, she's gonna react. Like, how have you survived this long? Why is the con man Ramson, who, by the way, A+ character, love him, but he's still stupid sometimes too. But that's forgivable since he's not stupid all the time. Why is he the voice of reason? The con man is the voice of reason. Why? And then, okay, and then there's this relationship thing that's going on in between all of the lines, and you're like, yeah, we know they're gonna get together at some point. Thank heavens it wasn't in this book, because I would have flipped my lid even further. But every time he's interacting with her, he's like, oh, she's just this sweet, naive girl who doesn't get it. I'm like, sweet, naive girl. He's like deciphering her personality, and nothing is going on. There is not enough interaction to justify him thinking these things. So there's that disconnect. So in my page, I was so frustrated that I wrote in scribbly, probably misspelled words, but impulsive. I was so frustrated. She ends up killing someone who could have information that they need. She ends up killing him in cold-blooded murder. Just pure cold blood. Like, it was total just crazy. And then she breaks out, I'm a monster. I'm like, you think? She made a stupid decision. Even Ramson was like grabbing her and is like, don't kill him. And she's like, get off of me. And it's like, don't kill him. And then like the next line, which pissed me off so bad that I had to shut the book. So Ramson tries to stop her from murdering this dude. Maybe you should listen to him, child. And instead, she says, get off me. And Ramson says, no. It was the trigger she'd been waiting for. Keeping her hold on the bad guy, she flung her magic at Ramson. He went still, his eyes widening and the veins straining in his neck at his temples as she took control of his blood. And she threw him across the room. I was like, I was so mad. I literally shut the book in pure frustration. I was like, shut the book up in frustration, or so frustrated. I was so far up to this point. Ramson and her are kind of getting along. They're frenemies. We'll call them frenemies. But the fact that she attacked him because he said no, Heaven forbid someone tells you no, girl. Everything that comes from Ramson's head where he's like, oh, she's naive, she's the sweet, she's the light, I'm the darkness. I'm like, the frick, no, she's not. She's an out of control, insane child. Get her some help. And then she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm a horrible human being. Like, yes, you are. Yes, you are. And then she hides behind the, I'm a monster. I'm a monster. Oh. After that, she runs away, but he comes back and meets up with her and yells at her. But the problem is his next line of thought in his head is like, okay, they're having this moment where they're going to go their separate ways and they're going to do their things. And she's like, well, you could be good and you could come with me. Sweetheart, you just murdered a man in cold blood and threw this one across the room, almost killing him. You're right, he could be good. And then he's thinking, she's the light and I am the darkness. The frick are you people smoking and drinking? What is in your water? I don't even know. All right, let's talk about flashbacks. You never say no to anything in writing, okay? But the way flashbacks were done in this book, I'm not a fan. These flashbacks were part of explaining what happened before in both Anna's life and Ramson's life. And that's great and all, but they are pages long. These flashbacks are pages long and talking about stuff that is not part of the current events and stuff that I just don't give a crap about, okay? Don't care. I don't care. Like, if you want to give me a couple of paragraphs of a flashback of this is what happened, but give me the Cliff Notes version of these, because pages spent on flashbacks. You know, at this point of reading this book, okay, I want to like it. So I'm frustrated. So I already have that inner frustration. I want to like this book. I want to like it. I don't want to rate it badly because I want to like the author. But by this point, I am getting more and more frustrated. I really flipped my lid when she murdered and attacked the guy that she's supposed to like. Because by this point, she'd done so many stupid things that it was just one more stupid thing on the list. Like, why? Flashbacks up to page 300, and we're still having flashbacks after that. I am so done with the flashbacks. Just stick with the plot. Only one flashback, I would say. One flashback really kind of nailed some things home, but it could have been shortened so much. Because even though I'm sitting here like critiquing it as a writer, like I've got flashbacks in my stories. Am I a hypocrite? Maybe. Who knows? We self-acknowledge what we are doing. Anthy is self-aware, but I was still fed up with so many flashbacks. Like, there's flashbacks early on in the book, and I'm like, I barely even know you. I barely even like you. So then there's a plot twist out of left field. Like, it came out of nowhere. I was like, what? Had no idea this person even existed. This is the real bad guy kind of twist. And I'm like, really? Like, there is no foreshadowing whatsoever. I am a huge fan of foreshadowing. I don't even do enough of it, but let me tell you, if you read any of my stuff and then go and finish it, you go, oh, look, this is what she's doing. Like, I purposely try to foreshadow stuff. And sometimes I don't do it good enough, but I try. I make an effort. I love foreshadowing. So when I see a twist that came out of left field, that I go back and don't go, oh, there was none of that. It was go, what? Wait, what? Who's this person? Wait, this person existed in the first place? Like, what? The ending was rushed, but I liked it. I liked it. So there are a lot of inner thoughts that didn't really match what was going on. Like, she is the light, I am the darkness. Like, well, Ramson, what are you smoking, boy? What are you smoking? Because the flashbacks were told to us, the reader, to make us connect with the character more, but it didn't quite work very well for me. And then there's interactions between Anna and Ramson that make them feel like they're growing closer together, but there's not enough dots to connect them to this part. And I am a huge person that wants to see the interactions with people and watch them grow closer together. It didn't happen and it didn't connect, and I'm like, why you waste so much time on these dumb flashbacks when there could be more scene interactions that are peaceful and calm? Unlike Anthy, the flashbacks would have been so much stronger if they had been told to each other, between Anna and Ramson. The reader doesn't need to be told anything. Just have the two of them tell it to each other. Anna, and in a moment of rare vulnerability, tells him about what happened in her childhood, and then Ramson, in a rare moment of vulnerability, tells her what happened to him, and then it strengthens their bond. Shocker. The world itself, I loved. I loved the world. The world was good. But the problem is, I don't want to like your stupid world. I want to like your characters. Like, I need to like Anna. I need to like her. Why can't I like her? It's your fault, author. It's okay, I love it. It's okay. We're fine. We're fine. There's a lot of stuff that Anthy is disappointed about. Anthy wanted this to be like a 5-star, 10-star book. But she went in with her expectations a little too high. This didn't affect my rating at all, but there would be Russian language stuff that you were supposed to kind of intuitively understand, and then, oh, there's a glossary in the back of the book. I'm sorry, I'm not going to remember that this word means house. Call it a house, please? The good. Let's get to the good stuff. I liked the ending. I liked the climax of the book. I liked that. I was like, okay, I'm good. And that, because originally I had a certain number of stars in my head, and I'm like, this book is driving me crazy. And the ending alone gave it an extra star. And Anna got better. Thank you so much. She got so much better at the end. She had good writing, good themes. There was a lot of thought put into the book with a ton of good intentions. And I really liked the book. And then at the same time, I'm exhausted. Oh, at the same time, Anthy is exhausted. I liked the writing. The opening line alone made me want to read the book. But the whole book was rushed. The beginning was rushed. Everything felt like the pacing was so fast. And like I said before, I like me some slower pacing books. But I like action and adventure. That's great. But I need to be able to breathe in between all of the exciting stuff. I give Blood Heir a 4 out of 5 stars. It was a 3-star book for me until the ending. As a writer, I would suggest slightly slowing your pacing, or at least making it go like this. You don't want your pacing to go like a train wreck, okay? Slow it down a little bit, smell the flowers, and then, you know, have the flowers explode, like flashbacks. If I have not spent enough time with a character, then your flashbacks are meaningless. Because there are so many flashbacks so early and so late, they did not have enough meaning to me. Make your flashbacks more of a connection moment between characters, instead of having a flashback with basically as an exposition to tell the reader why the character acts like this. Give it to have the characters say it, so then they have to go through the trouble of processing what happened to them, and then they have to tell someone else about it. It makes it a lot different. It makes it more meaningful. You have a connection between characters. I'm all for the slow moments, the peaceful times. The polar bear did it. All right, that's this review in a nutshell. The polar bear did it. Thanks for sitting with me basically in my car. Although there's no room for you in this seat, but you know, hey, it is what it is. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, bye. The polar bear did it.